Welcome to Own It for Good, Day 12. Today we're going to continue our topic of holistic living and break down sort of what that means. And today we're going to talk about the topic of our human body of water. So let's dive in. Okay, let's talk about our human body of water. And as you can see by the graph or the image that was on the first slide, and also here, the body is composed of mainly water. It is 75% of your brain is water. It makes up 75% of your muscles and 22% of your bones, and 83% of your blood is made of water. And so that's a lot. So we are mainly a body of water. And it serves such functions as, and this is a proper amount of water in your system and being properly hydrated, it helps regulate your body temperature, deliver nutrients and oxygen to our cells, moistens oxygen for breathing, helps convert food to energy, protects and cushions your vital organs, helps your body absorb nutrients, removes waste, cushions your joints. So water is so essential to our survival and surviving well. One of the main side effects of drinking alcohol is that it affects our hydration level. And so we're going to kind of focus on that today before we dive further into some of the other toxic effects that it has on our bodies, which it does. So this is literally just the tip of the iceberg, but it's really, really important because, we are mostly made of water. So there are three types of dehydration. So when we use the word dehydration, mainly we're talking about the loss of water, which is hypertonic dehydration. But there's also hypotonic and isotonic. Hypotonic is causes is an electrolyte imbalance in your hydration levels. And this, when we talk about electrolytes, we're talking about key nutrients like sodium and potassium. Isotonic dehydration is the combination of a loss of water and electrolyte imbalance. So this is important because as you experience chronic dehydration, and if it goes to the point where it is not just a loss of water, but also a loss of electrolytes, it can cause some even more serious damage. And just on a personal note right here, my father suffered from this towards the end of his life and towards the end of his terminal use of alcohol, and it caused a condition called hyponatremia, which affected his brain, and it was a severe imbalance of sodium and potassium that affected him cognitively and in many other ways near the end of his life and his ordeal with alcohol. So, not something that you want to experience. But even in the everyday drinker or occasional drinker, so let's circle back to what the CDC says a definition of one drink is. And, 5 ounces of wine, 12 ounces of beer, and beer even being between the 5 and 6 BAC. Or ABV, sorry, and then the spirits and other drinks. So again, we're all created individually, but in general, it takes about 1 hour for the body to metabolize one drink fully. And that's not often when we consume alcohol for the average person, they're not sticking to these guidelines or these time frames. And so with that in mind, even if you do stay within these guidelines, alcohol does reduce your body's production of a key ingredient called vasopressin, which is the body's antidiuretic compound. So without your body being able to regulate this hormone and this function, you are increasing the dehydrating effects of alcohol. Alcohol also causes diuresis, which is the increase in urinating or urinating more frequently. So between these two factors, you're producing more urine and you're urinating more frequently. So both of these together are causing dehydration when you drink. So if you do choose to drink, make sure you're hydrated before you drink, and also hydrate while you're drinking. The buildup of the toxin acetaldehyde also is occurring when you're losing water, and this can cause vomiting, which will also increase dehydration because you're losing now moisture and water through emptying of your stomach contents. So when you take water out of the rest of the body and we consider the brain and you're shrinking the tissue there, this is what is the main cause of that hangover headache. You also can experience changes in your hormone levels, which can make changes to your skin, short-term and long-term. Experience even things like acne as an adult. While you're drinking, you can experience nausea depending on how much you drink and if you become too hydrated. So even if it doesn't go to the point of vomiting, you can experience nausea. It's going to affect your bowel movements, as we learned here on the graphic here, that, if your intestines and your intestinal system is not getting enough water, that's going to affect you. Your muscles can become stiff and cramped, and regular consumption over time can also lead to loss of muscle mass. And not just muscles in your legs and arms that we think of, but even muscles like your heart. Your heart can become kind of squishy over time, which is pretty scary. Your liver can also experience damage. It's another muscle, and it will, by a buildup of excessive fat and protein, by trying to produce, or not produce, but deal with and detoxify from alcohol use. And this can also cause scarring, which over the time can lead to liver disease and cirrhosis of the liver. Your kidneys can be damaged by lack of water and being dehydrated, and this can result in high blood pressure and the toxins as they process the alcohol into urine. So kidney damage can occur, and short-term and long-term cognitive effects can happen within your brain. So these are just some of the effects of just the dehydrating aspect of alcohol consumption. And we're going to dive further in the coming days onto the other chemical changes that can happen. But water is a big deal for our body. And when you drink alcohol, you are inviting dehydration. So that's all we're going to do for today. You can take any of these learnings and journal about them or ponder, but hopefully just knowing the science of what happens and what you are inviting into your body and the consequences is motivating. I know for me it was a big light bulb moment. So give your body the best that it needs to thrive and survive, and kick out the things that are going to be in opposition to that for your best life. See you tomorrow.